Hello, my little goblins are back at it again. This time we're playing Evil Eye. Very dangerous, very spooky. It's very spooky. So, why are we playing Evil Eye? Why are we doing this to ourselves? Well, the first thing is this deck got some new cards. And when I say some new cards, it got 2 new cards. Or maybe more. I'm pretty sure it was 2. But I could be wrong. The main new cards it got is Evil Eye Unleashed. This card's really, really, really good. It's probably the best card in the deck besides Sir Zeal now. Probably the best card in the deck now because it's a really good starter. And now we have this card. Basil Trice, Familiar of the Evil Eye. So this card allows you to do link summoning plays on your opponent's turn, and it's also just a special summon from the graveyard. So yeah, I mean, those are like the 2 major cards that this deck got, and you might be thinking, that doesn't seem very good. Well, shut your mouth. It's actually not bad, and I will say this, you might think link summoning on your opponent's turn is terrible. But with the Evil Eye Unleashed, it has a graveyard effect. So when you link summon into a card, you can target a Selene, an Eye card in the graveyard, and equip it to the link monster. So if you just say you have Sir Zeal, you activated Sir Zeal, you pop the card, and now you want to go into a negate, boom, link summon, and then you can go a Gorgon. You can get the Gorgon negate up. So it does actually have a purpose. Like, it's not like a completely dead, but most of the time I'm going to tell you, you're using it for the other effect. You're just special summoning it. Because you're going to special summon this, you special summon this, you special summon this, or even just to get 2 of them on the board. You can get a negate with Cicada King. You can get insane OTK, also really solid negates, monster negate. Or we just go into Deus Machina and we start slurping off our opponent. Because I know you guys love that shit. So, but I think the deck's going to be pretty good. Just to give you an idea, this deck is actually grabbed off Master Duel Meta. I did not create this myself. I will say this is a little different from the list I grabbed originally. It was from this user named NonStop DC. Who did top 4 in the week meta tournament, and he also hit Master 1 with the deck. And I will say he runs Pot of Extravagance instead of Triple Tactics Talent. I just when I was playing Extravagance, I just kept banishing all my good cards like over and over and over. Like, it was getting to the point of like ridiculousness. I know why you run it though, just because people play around Tactics Talent at Master, so people do play around it. It was just really annoying to me. I also kind of like the fact I can look at my opponent's deck and just shuffle a card away, which is a pretty cool added bonus to the card. So we are going to go into some matches. You guys can see how the deck performs, and then we'll go to the recap. Okay, sounds pretty good. Let's go.
Hello, my little goblins. We're here with game number 1, and
Our opening hand seems pretty good for going. I mean, it would seem good for going second, but we're playing against tier limit, so they're gonna lead off with Ariana with. I mean, I think this is a little bizarre. Imperm kind of just breaks him up. Now he's gonna play Lady, so that means bare minimum he's only gonna have 1 trap. So I have zero idea why you would ever set Labyrinth in this scenario, because if I had Ash or anything, it's just such a massive brick. You know what that tells you? If someone does this exact play, this tells you immediately that they have a welcome. They have some type of welcome, because this is just not there's no reason to get the field spell if you're just running this low on back row. So I'm gonna snipe his card. So the plan here is I have 3 Bishops entirely in the deck. I don't really care about Magma Hub, but I do kind of want to get Drew's Room on the field. So I was like, well, honestly, I probably should have just got Magma Hut on the field. Now I'm thinking about it. I could have thinned out the deck. But either way, we're sniping out the Chandelier so it doesn't recur. In case this is big welcome and he's able to get that recursion. I don't want him to start churning shit out. So here's the Drew's room. Because now I'd feel really stupid if I ended up top decking like a Beldrake here, right? But we don't, so we're fine. We grab Selene. You have a domain. Here comes Surziel. So Surziel is your main boss monster usually. I mean, it sounds kind of weird because you do have like the links, but Surziel has more activations in him, I guess. Like he allows you to pop the Eye of Selene more. I do like going into this one probably more, especially in the. It feels like, from my personal experience, it feels like this in the Labyrinth matchup is really good because you just keep popping their back row as they try and set it and stuff. Well, we're gonna activate Selene. He has Welcome. I'm going to chain my Evil Eye cards so I can, otherwise I won't be able to have an Evil Eye on the board. He snipes Evil Eye Awakening because he's just better than me at the game. And then we just go into Gorgon. And here we go. Gorgon's getting massive. We're going to negate. We're just trying to boost up this baddie. And we're going to whack him. Whack him. We know the last card that he has in his hand is the Lady Labyrinth, which is completely fine. We have Evil Eye Retribution. We have a Gorgon that's not dying anytime soon. And we just recovered a Drew's room. He's pretty fucked from this point on. I think he realizes it after he drew, and it's a GG.
Hello, we're here with game number 2 against 18.
And we're going to use Pot of Pee. And, yeah, we're looking. We got Evil Eye Unleashed, best card in the deck, so add the Gorgano, because I already have an Evil Eye Selene. And we're going to add in the field spell. So the field spell is going to last against Surziel. Now we can actually start playing the game like a normal human. We get Evil Eye Retribution. We're going to activate this catalog. So from this point on, I had a choice. I was like, am I going to get Evil Eye Retribution? I have like PTSD like against evenly match, and this deck gets absolutely annihilated if you get evenly matched for the most part. So like most decks do, I guess, but this is our only interruption for evenly match, so I usually get it. And then we go into Gorgon. Unleash is going to allow us to set one of the Evil Eyes, and then we equip the other. Boom, boom. And now it's our opponent's turn. They're playing Tier Limit. Easy shutdown for us on this Gorgon. To be completely honest, things are looking good for me. Polymerization. We could get punished with evenly match here, but I can't let polymerization go through. Tier Limit, they'll have like 700 effects activating, and my deck just can't deal with that. He ends up going into Field Spell, which is pretty devastating, but we're going to max CM. We get a free draw here. Ash is a great draw. He ends up hitting 2 Merleys, which is actually great for us, because that means you can only activate 1, and I could Pizza Hut it. So now we're Gucci. We're going to Ash to have this effect. This sounds psychotic, but if this guy hit gold off this Havness, I was fucked. Like, I can deal with him going into Time Thief or Doer, but nothing else. So he goes in Time Thief, he activates I Imperm, lock it down, and we add the Drew's Room back to hand. We let him do his thing. I'm going to special summon this, and then I'm going to go right to combat attack. He's going to activate his thing. I'm going to negate. He's going to activate Havness. I do have to watch out, but I do have this Drew's Room in there for a reason. He hits Sharon. I hit the Drew's Room. Boom. Bye-bye. You goodbye. If he did have his one of Solik, which he did not search, that still could have been a different game, because he could have triggered the tier. If he had a way of triggering the tier on the field, it was going to be a tough game. But he didn't, so we win. GG. I think Tier Limit is a tough matchup for the deck. Alrighty, we're here with game number 3 against Thawky. Thocky. Interesting. And guess what? It's another Labyrinth. So the thing is, I actually think the Labyrinth matchup is not that bad. Like, it's a long matchup because they're playing Labyrinth, but it doesn't feel horrible. So I'm going to play Pot of Pea. He's going to trigger a bunch of stuff, but, like, remember something. One thing I want you to remember is we hit some great cards here, but Ash Blossom against this deck is insane. So we're going to... But the thing is, so you might say, well, why don't you say this for Big Welcome? Well, the problem is this motherfucker is probably going to drop Coup Clock, and if he has... I don't want Ice Dragon Prism to happen, so... Or whatever this is, Dogmatic Punishment, whatever. I need to kind of do my thing, so... Whatever's going to lead me to the least interruption. So here comes Surzil. Honestly, I have a really bad habit of not equipping Evil Eye Celine to cards where I activate other things. You probably should be equipping this a little early, unless you know for a fact you're not going to be going into like a Link or something. Just because like you can get the benefit from activations. So he's going to Maxi. I'm going to activate this immediately. I end up deciding here, though, that I'm going to... So it doesn't really matter that if I equipped it or not. Because I'm actually deciding here... I'm committing to going into Zurziel, which is the Link 3 boss monster. Because it has a once per turn pop, which I can start picking away his back row to start getting rid of this lady on the board. So we pop the Ice Dragon Prism. He activates Big Welcome, which he actually had. He just took 30 years to activate. For some reason. We kill the lady, which is fine. Set 3. This set 3, by the way, is insane. Like Imperm, Eye, and Defeat. It's a really good set. Alright, so he's going to activate this. So right now, I was actually just trying to bait out his Big Welcome. I took a gamble on not chaining anything to my Imperm. Because I wanted Lady to activate, like, I wanted him to activate Big Welcome to dogs just to be greedy. Because now it gives me Zurziel easy way of just popping this. So he goes into Epic Eradicator Virus, but I'm not too afraid of that. He sets a Welcome. Okay, sets 2 cards. I bounced the Dreesworm. Honestly, I didn't have to bounce it. But I'm doing this to get more damage off. And I'm also doing this because I want to, like, pick these cards out, like the Torby out of the graveyard. But I'm just trying to increase his damage. So, we end up giving him a draw, which is fine. He activates Welcome, we activate Eye. And it looks like we win the game. So, GG. Get annihilated. Hello, we're here with game number 4. And this time we're showcasing NonStop DC, the man who, or girl, who created this deck. And he is playing against Tier Limit. I just want a variety of games. And, like, I just feel like the games I have, a lot of them are just wins against Labyrinth. Where he has a bit more variety with it. We have wins against other things, but people conceded very quickly against me if I had like things going, which is kind of annoying. I am a little jealous of this Royal Rare. It looks kind of sick. Not gonna lie. Royal Rare Evil Eyes Unleashed probably looks crazy. But I mean, this guy's doing full tier combo, but full tier combo, he only let him draw like 2 cards, so it's like not that bad. And he was able to get Crime, probably Soliak. I mean, he's 3 set with this is not pretty good end board considering. Top deck's another backseat, pretty troll honestly. Pretty troll at that point. Alright, so Evil Eyes is leashed. Looks like he's gonna send the Basil Trice. Looks like he's getting Soliax very early. And this is actually a pretty good send. Because this activates and he can Ash it. So this is actually a really good... It's really nice for him for NonStop DC. And now he's going to maxi him. So there's the rub. But then we're chaining Baltrice. So, did we really get maxied? That's a question we gotta ask ourselves. I also find that in these matchups, like, I find Zerziel, like, being very, like, not good. Because it destroys a card on the field, and all our cards do stuff when they're destroyed. Honestly, I think Gorgana, whatever, is a better one in this scenario. So he just uses the effect to trigger at this point because he's negated. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't want to be popping that. I would imagine. So it looks like he's going to go into Gorgon on his turn. There comes the Selene. And it's important that you do this in the draw phase. Because if he waited till a standby phase, since he used Zerziel's effect, he would have to pop something on his side of the field. Usually you just pop the field spell. The field spell gives you something. But like, it wasn't very good there. So this is actually really good. And it's untargeted pop. So like you can't chain anything to it. And you just fucking yourself over. It's untargeting. Alright, so it looks like he's bricked him up. Grab the Balsalos. Play the second Zerziel. I mean, this is over. This guy's conceding. GG, well played. And we got the fifth and final match. It's going to be Wings yugioh versus NonStop DC, which is pretty cool, IMO. Pretty cool. I don't know if this was for the tournament or if these are just between friends, but this match is pretty sick. Honestly, this guy, his opening is kind of whack, to be honest, because he opened 3 Bellons. But he's able to still go into Tryhard. The thing that's hilarious, though, is, like, I feel like, I think NonStop DC could have outed it, but, like, he has, like, a super easy out, right? Like, Drew's Worm, Magma Hut, like, I mean, that's super easy out, which is actually, like, really nice for him. We got here, Drew's Worm activates, boom. And now, we're going to go into Dark. It's going to trigger, get rid of the Tryhard. That's 1 card down already. And then we're going to Sarnier. Sarnier goes into Unicorn. Unicorn sending. You gotta remember too, like these cards can all come back from the graveyard. So he negates this, and he's just gonna go straight up for an OTK at this point. So he's not gonna need this Evil Eye Retribution. He can just pitch with Gorgana. It's not a big deal. Because like I said, he does not need it whatsoever. This man's got special summons for days. Boom. Access Code Talker. And even under all this, he's still like making sure he's not wasting effects. Like these cards get banished when they leave the field, so he's making sure he's saving them for an XZ summon. And then we got Deus Machina. Zerziel still hasn't popped. And this is super lethal. Big damn. So pretty cool games by NonStop DC. We're gonna go to the recap and talk about the deck. Hello and welcome to the recap. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please like and consider subscribing. You know what, just do it. Just do it for me. I had to craft Evil Eye, so I need something here. Also, join the Discord. The Discord link is down below. If you're watching this on a Friday, 6 p.m. Easterns, we always host a tournament. So the rules are in the Discord, so go in there. It's a fun tournament. We usually get around like 12. Recently, we've been getting a lot of 12-ish people, which is like a decent amount. Not too long, not too short. It's usually like a 2 to 3 hour tournament. So look forward to seeing you guys there. So let's talk about the deck. So first of all, again, I want to say a thanks to NonStop DC for creating the deck. Like I said, the only difference between our decks is actually there's 2 differences. Was I changed out the triple tactics talent, and I changed out into Boral Sword Dragon. And the reason why I changed Boral Sword Dragon, hear me out on this, hear me out, is because I think that OTK is better than access code because like all our extra deck monsters are all dark besides Underworld Goddess. So I feel like with the access code pop, you really don't get much value. The only thing I will say about access code pop is it can out like an unoutable like skill drain or something. It can out skill drain and shit like that. But I don't think that's a good enough reason, to be honest, because skill drain's at 1, you know. Other than that, the deck's pretty much the same. How do I feel about the deck? Well, I think the deck's pretty good. I will say I started off playing the deck. It was very, very rough. I think I lost like 7 games in a row. I deranked. And I went from Master 4 to Master 5. It was pretty rough. I think some of those obviously were my mistakes, but also my opponents were just opening god hands. So like if you open a really good hand with this deck, but your opponent opens a really, really good hand with tier limit, you're going to lose the game. I'm talking about that you activate your Surzeal Search and they play Havness Mills, Kelbeck, and the 2-tier cards or something like that, and they just absolutely melt you on your own turn. You're just gonna lose. Like you don't. The deck doesn't have enough legs to play on, unless you. I really don't even know what you would do against that. Obviously, if you have Unleashed in hand, you can set up Graveyard a little bit. But if your opponent also has like the Bestial cards in their hand, I mean, they can kind of just counter you on that point. Like, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like a really good tier hand, I feel like is going to be very hard for you to beat with this deck. I felt really good in the Labyrinth matchups. We played against a lot of Labyrinth, and I felt like I won majority of them. Because they have kind of a hard time dealing with your big monster beater, you know what I mean? And if you're able to go into the Link 3 too, this Link 3 is like crazy good against them. You just keep popping all their back row like non-stop every turn. It starts getting huge. I mean, it only needs a few activations really. And then you just line it up with some protection to mess with them. I will say though, if they open crazy, they probably beat you because the big welcome just bounces, you know, so they can, you know, I don't think so actually, because big welcome can't target. You'd have to have a way like of popping your spell and trap. They're gonna have to pop your equip spell and then bounce your card, which is a little tougher to do. I mean, I guess it's not that tough for him, but I like to think it is. We had a good matchup against them. We pretty much had good games against every deck that wasn't tier. Tier games were brutal. And yes, we beat a few tier, but like a lot of them conceded before even trying to play it out. And another thing too, like the Super Poly was just insanely brutal too. I know Super Poly is always brutal, but man, did it feel even worse with this deck, because like your spells and like these traps and stuff, they only work if you have an Evil Eye on the board, and they just suck up your entire board. Like your Deus Machina with your Surzeal, it feels like you just lose the game. Also, Ashura King, we went into this like a few times. Card was really good when we went into it. Card also has like pretty high OTK potential because it attacks 3 times if you have 3 materials. We had some cool games too with Zeus. Like we had a really like interesting game where it was like, well, it wasn't even interesting. It was more like my opponent was playing Lab and they decided to bounce my Surzeal because they're afraid of the equip instead of my Deus Machina, and I just attacked and then made a 4 material Zeus and then blew up the field, and he just conceded immediately on the spot, which was pretty funny. But yeah, I think the deck is pretty good. Is it worth crafting though? Let me think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Unless you really like the archetype, I'm gonna say no. It's not worth crafting. 7 in archetype URs that you'll never use for any other deck, and the deck's like pretty boring in general. I found this deck extremely boring. Like, you just make a boss monster, you protect the boss monster. It's like you protect the tower. You know what I mean? It's just so boring. But that's probably their biggest weakness right now is they're boring. Just they make me want to fall asleep. But there's still it's still an interesting archetype though. Like, if you're really into like this type of like play style where you build like a really big monster and it's an invincible boss monster, then this could be a good choice for you. But yeah, the new support for this deck, it does go crazy. So there's that as a bonus, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna put this deck at a solid like 6. I'm gonna put a solid 6 because, like I said, it's not very good at TCG or OCG. There's really no tournament really finishings. There's like a very small handful of them, like maybe 2 in the past like few years. And on top of that, it's like you're playing into a meta that's like tier limits at like an insane power level, and this deck just, I feel like the tier limit matchup is not very good. I mean, we have the Bishields for it, but like if we don't open them, it's even worse. So yeah, I think a 6 is a solid score for it on a tier scaling. I'm gonna give it, obviously it's a rogue deck. I wouldn't say it's a meme deck because you can definitely lose to this, but I'm gonna put it at rogue because it's definitely nowhere close to the power level of Sprite, Dragon Link, Labyrinth. I would say even Trap Tricks is probably better than this. Yeah, definitely better than this. Trap Tricks definitely better than this. I don't know, but you definitely could climb the Master one. I mean, the NonStop DC guy, he looks like he climbed the Master one with it, and he did well in a recent event with it. So I don't know how big these meta weekly tournaments are. 87 participants. I just see right here. That's actually not bad. 87 participants, not bad. That's actually pretty decent sized, especially for Master Duel. I mean, it's way bigger than the tournaments we host. So if you find it hard to win the tournaments we host, guess what? You find that one a lot harder to win. A lot more competition. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys like this, let me know down in the comments. And also, if NonStop DC, if you have a channel, I didn't find anything, I would plug you. But I mean, all power to you, dude. Live that evil eye dream, you know. All right, goodbye.